Hi, my name is Karina. For my Google Science Fair project, I chose to do the Mpemba Effect. The Mpemba Effect is testing to see if hot water can freeze faster than cold water. My hypothesis was that if I freeze hot and cold water at the same time, the hot water will freeze faster. I began my experiment by pouring hot water into beaker A and cold water into beaker B, and then covering both the tops with aluminum. I recorded the temperature of both beakers and also checked the weight of them to make sure they have the same amount of water. I then placed both of the beakers into the freezer to begin the freezing process. Every 10 minutes, I would check the temperatures of both beakers to see which one was closer to freezing than the other. While the hot and cold water was freezing, I noticed that the cold water was freezing at a faster rate than the hot water was, but the hot water eventually reached the same temperature as the cold water, and then began to reach lower temperatures than the cold water. This is what beaker A and beaker B looked like towards the time beaker A froze. As you can see, most of the hot water in beaker A is frozen. It only has a little bit left to freeze. Unlike beaker A, most of the cold water in beaker B hasn't frozen yet. You can see a small amount of the water has frozen, but the majority of it is still in the process of freezing. As you can tell, my results help prove my hypothesis. In the beginning, the cold water was reaching lower temperatures at a faster rate than the hot water was, but around the hour and 10-minute mark, both of the beakers had reached the same temperature, which was 0 degrees. They both stayed at the same temperature for 10 minutes, but then the hot water reached 0 degrees another 10 minutes later. In my graph, you can see the different rate in which both beakers froze. Between the first 10 minutes was when the hot water had the biggest drop in temperature, but the cold water's drop in temperature was more gradual and steady. You can also notice that the temperatures of both of the waters kept on coming closer and closer to each other as time passed. Overall, my experiment and results prove my hypothesis. Hot water does freeze faster than cold water. Scientists explain that hot water has a faster rate in which heat is being lost, while cold water has a slower rate. Also, energy is being released quicker and faster when the water is hot. I believe that my experiment can benefit several scientists in this field. Now that they know hot water can freeze faster than cold water, they could use that fact to help them with other various experiments.